Hi everyone, Kate here with a TBR and pile of possibilities for Boo to You, which is a readathon hosted by Emma from The Bookish Princess, which combines fun spookiness for Halloween, and it feels very festive, and a love of Disney things. And this year, the prompt is using the Grim Grinning Ghosts song that plays in the Haunted Mansion ride. And you can kind of just take inspiration from any phrases in there for your reading. So it was really fun to hear what Emma is going to be reading and how she used some of the phrases that are in there. And she has linked in her announcement video, which I will link her announcement video. Below that, the lyrics for the Magic Kingdom version of the Haunted Mansion, and then also the Disneyland. So the Disney World version and then the Disneyland version of Grim Grinning Ghost, because the lyrics are different apparently in both of those. So I'm looking forward to telling you what I'm going to be reading. I do have a couple Victorian things picked in here because, as we know, Victorian literature really does take over my October, and I'm fine with that. However, I have treated myself in the past few years to the luxury of reading some different things. I do sometimes start to burn out on Victorian literature. If I am really enjoying everything Victorian that I'm reading, then I'm content to read Victorian things all month long. However, some years, unfortunately, I have just picked several duds and then I lose momentum. And so then I don't want to be filled with kind of this bookish despair about, where is this Victorian reading month going to? And just having fun, festive, spooky things to read, because there is this other kind of category of books that I want to read in October and I don't usually make time for. And so, like I said, it's a pile of possibilities, more than I could fit in. There are some shorter things though, and I am looking forward to seeing what I can get to and just having fun with it. So the phrases that I picked, the first one was goblins and ghoulies from last Halloween. I was talking with my friend Chrissy Lewis about this, and she pointed out Goblin Market. How appropriate is that? So I wanted to reread Goblin Market this year, not this whole poetry collection because I have other poetry priorities, but Goblin Market is included in this, and I definitely want to read that. It's just such a beautiful, evocative poem, and I love all of the imagery in it, and I have been longing to get back to it and revisit this poem, so I'm looking forward to revisiting Goblin Market. And then the next phrase is, as the moon climbs high o'er the dead oak tree, spooks arrive for a midnight spree. I have never read The Legend of Sleepy Hollow, and I really want to read it. So hopefully this year I will make time for it. It is a really easy thing to fit in because it is a short story. I think this is one that I would love to read on Halloween, the day itself. So hopefully I will be able to do that. Halloween is usually kind of busy because I'm having fun with my boys, so it's a good busy, but not quite as much reading time. So I am trying to intentionally pick shorter things that I will read on the day of. And then the next thing that I want to read on actual Halloween the prompt is only ghost stories, of course, and that is The Canterville Ghost. I was talking this up to so many people that I'm like, I want to reread it this year. So on Halloween, I'm hoping to reread The Canterville Ghost. It is a humorous ghost story, which also has kind of a sweet, tender-hearted ending to it. And so it's just really fun because it does have that kind of spooky atmosphere to it. But it's also very funny because it's Oscar Wilde. And it is quite short. It is, it is 50 pages. So that's something that easily could be read on Halloween, and it will feel festive. So I am excited for that. Then the next one, the prompt is Wizards and Witches Wherever You Dwell. So I wanted to make time for some Halloween audiobooks with the boys this year, and we are hopefully going to be listening to Not Just a Witch by Eva Ibbotson. So Eva Ibbotson is an interesting and intriguing author to me because she wrote historical romances, but also a fair amount of children's fiction. And she has several stories involving witches, and I just think her stories seem really whimsical and imaginative. And hopefully we will all enjoy Not Just a Witch. I don't know much about the plot, but just what I did read made me sound intrigued. And it seems like the right amount spooky that I could listen with my kids. And I'm very excited to try her. The next phrase is frightening sounds echo through the halls. And this is another audiobook I would like to listen to with my boys, and it is The House with a Clock in Its Walls. And it is by John Bellairs, who is an author that Angie from the channel Literary Labors has spoken about and has made it seem like he is a really fun amount spooky and just the kind of thing that I could enjoy with my boys at Halloween. I know a movie of this came out a few years ago, so maybe if we enjoy the book, we could watch the movie. I know really not much about either, and I'm okay going in blind. So it just seems like, mysterious things have happened. I think a little boy who is an orphan moves to this mansion with his uncle, and he doesn't know much about the mansion, and it seems like it could be a lot of fun. And George Goodall is the narrator, and he has narrated the Avi books, or what is the series though? Ragweed by Avi, and then also the Mitford series by Jan Karan that I loved so much. So I really like that narrator. The next phrase is an aura of foreboding, which I did end up picking a fair amount of the same phrases that Emma picked. And I want to read Something Wicked This Way Comes by Ray Bradbury. I read 2 years ago and really enjoyed, I think it's The Halloween Tree, and the language was so beautiful. I hadn't read anything by him. I tried Dandelion Wine, I think it was earlier this year, and I could not get into it. So I want to keep trying with Ray Bradbury, and maybe at some point I'll loop back around to Dandelion Wine, because he has a lot of those things that should make me like it, like very nostalgic feel to them, lyrical writing, and so hopefully I will enjoy Something Wicked This Way Comes. I'm pretty sure it is about a carnival that comes to town, and there's lots of mysterious and creepy things happening at the carnival, and I'm hoping to enjoy it. Okay, then I have another one for Wizards and Witches Wherever You Dwell, and it is one of the Worst Witch series. So this is The Worst Witch Saves the Day. I cannot rave enough about this series. If you like cozy, just kind of charming Halloween things, The Worst Witch series by Jill Murphy is fabulous. And it is all about Mildred. I always struggle with remembering her name, but Mildred Hubble. And she's a very lovable yet clumsy witch. And she is at Miss Cackle's Academy for Witches and goes on all sorts of adventures there. And it looks like in this one that there is a new teacher, and she is just very odd. And Mildred thinks there is some kind of mystery to uncover with this new teacher. And also, look at her kitty cat. And they are filled with illustrations. Let me find a particularly good one. Here she is, cozied up. And her cat is not a good witch cat, but she doesn't care because she loves her so much. So yes, I just love how they are just brimming over with illustrations. And these are definitely ones I like to do in physical form instead of audiobook because the illustrations are so endearing. Okay, the next one is shrouded in a daft disguise. I loved this phrase, and I am hoping to read a novella by Mary Elizabeth Braddon called Good Lady Ducayne. And this woman comes to be a young woman, I think who's narrating the story, comes to be a companion to Lady Ducayne, who has this very kind of respectable appearance that she puts on, but there are some things that are not adding up, and everything is not all as it seems with Good Lady Ducayne. So I am really excited to read a novella by Mary Elizabeth Braddon, and hopefully I will enjoy it. The next prompt is, now be sure to bring your death certificate. And I thought, well, of course, a murder mystery. And I do know that pretty much every Victober, actually, I am really in the mood to read a murder mystery. And it has been a long time since I have read any Ruth Rendell. And so I have 3 standalones that are potential candidates, because I know that Ruth Rendell's standalones, when I enjoy them, I thoroughly enjoy them. Like The Secret House of Death is such an excellent one. But I have had a few that were just not really a hit with me. The Water's Lovely. So the first one that I have a physical copy of is Master of the Moor. And this sounds really haunting. Ruth Rendell definitely has darker books, but the time of year that I'm in the mood to read darker books is definitely fall and winter. So they are psychological suspense. And I think that there's a couple of murders in this. But then the other 2 that, if I don't enjoy that one, I have as backup is Dark Corners. And that one I know came out, I think maybe the year before she passed away. So it was really one of the last books that she wrote. And I think someone is renting a house from someone else, and he finds out a secret about him and starts blackmailing him. It's going to be dark and twisted like Ruth Rendell's books are. And then the other one is The Girl Next Door, where I think there are kind of remains of someone from the 1940s found in like early 2000s, and they try to unravel the mystery of that. So like I said, Ruth Rendell's books are highly psychological. They're like no other books that I read. And so it's been a long time. It's been maybe 3 years since I've read anything by her, and I'm just missing her dark books. So I'm in the mood for one now. And then the last one, another one for Wizards and Witches Wherever You Dwell. And I don't know if I will make time for this, but I'm just making a note here. This is the next Elizabeth Goudge I want to read, and that is The White Witch. Emma, I know, enjoyed this, and then my friend Elizabeth Brink also really enjoyed this, and she has read a fair number of Elizabeth Goudge books, if not all of them. And this is set in 17th century England, and which I don't know if I've read, maybe one other Elizabeth Goudge, which is Towers in the Mist. I think that was what it was. Yeah, I think Towers in the Mist is that similar era. But I am really excited to read this because it comes with an endorsement from both of them. And the war is happening, and there is someone who's half Romani in it, which will be really interesting. Kind of probably they're ostracized in the community, I imagine, living in 16th century England. I will just have to wait and see. This is on the shorter end, although most of her books are not terribly long. Green Dolphin Country, which I read, or Green Dolphin Street, which I read this spring, is an exception. So this is around 400 pages. So none of the things that I have picked are terribly long. So we will just see what I get to. Thank you, Emma, for making such a fun read along for kind of the spooky, festive part of October. And I will let you know in my October wrap up what I get up to reading. But I also am hoping, fingers crossed, that I will be doing reading vlogs all throughout Victober. I think I only did one last Victober because I was just feeling so unwell. Hopefully this year will be better, and I will be doing reading vlogs each week and keeping you updated on everything Victorian and Boo to You that I am reading. Thank you very much for watching. And I have so many videos coming out in October that I cannot wait for you to see. Pretty much a video every day. Except for Mondays, which I'm hoping to have a reading vlog up on those days. So we'll see if I stay faithful to that promise. Yes, I hope you all have a great wrap up to your September. And I am currently reading Daphne du Maurier's Rebecca and absolutely loving it. So very excited that I am making time for that before I gear up for Victober. I will be back with many Victober videos, and have a lovely day. Bye.